I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre
Andre.
Rell,
Tell us, how
who
was he
was
victimized?
mentored by Clive Davis.
Rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about.
I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people, and his mentor was Andrew Well. Tell us how mentored by Clyde Davis. Now rumor has it allegedly Diddy got on his knees for Clyde Davis in 1994. And that's how Bad Boy Records came about. So it looks like Diddy might be betraying his Al Sugar Daddy, Clive Davis, and snitching on him to Homeland Security. Well, Diddy got caught up in a hot, high-profile case with the feds, and it looks like they're about to have him on Luke. The feds have allegedly been carrying out their investigation into Diddy for a long time now, and it looks like they finally have him right where they want him. But reports have it that Diddy is desperate to avoid jail, and he is giving up names of people who actually run the crime business in Hollywood, including allegedly Clive Davis, Diddy, and Clive go way back. But it looks like Diddy is only after his own interest right now, because he allegedly just got Clyde in a whole lot of trouble with the feds. I'm not hating on him for getting money me either, I'm just hating on the way he got it. And I'm hating on the overall effect of what it's done, y'all. They saying that Diddy is singing like a canary, and he is determined to make sure that he doesn't go down alone for whatever they have him on. As it turns out, Diddy is not the only one involved in the crimes that he has been accused of by the feds, because it's an alleged conspiracy. And Diddy is snitching hard on everybody that is involved in this alleged conspiracy. Well, this is interesting, because after Diddy's houses got raided, several people in the industry claimed that Diddy was being used as the fall guy for a conspiracy that involved several people, including some of the biggest elites in Hollywood. For example, Candace Owens tweeted the feds are currently raiding Diddy's house. They already knew what he was up to, but he's going to be the fall guy so that they can protect people at the top of the ring. They are raiding his home to hide evidence, not to find it. That's how this works. But it looks like Diddy might be finally starting to realize this. And that's why he's been snitching his head off since the raids, in case you've been under a rock or something like that. Diddy has been in a lot of trouble for a very long time now, starting with Cassie's lawsuit and currently Rodney Little Rod Jones' lawsuit. Now we all thought that Little Rod was going to be the worst of it, but the next thing we knew, the feds were knocking on Diddy's door, carrying out a raid that they claimed was in a relation to sex trafficking case, and Diddy's sons Justin and Christian were both detained, being linked to a trafficking investigation. He got some shots of a few people coming out of the home. Those people have been detained. Now we're trying to still connect the dots. We do have some sources on scene here that we're getting this information from. We were actually the first ones here with about 30 different law enforcement vehicles. At least there are 3 Bearcats on scene. Hear this just all unfolded, Sandra, I would say less than 10 minutes ago. We got here even before the crime scene tape came up, so we're just down the hill. If you look up the street where Tony is right now, to the right you'll see one of those Bearcats and law enforcement on other side of those bushes. Basically, is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films. At first, we thought that Diddy had fled the country to the Caribbean because his private jet was seen in Antigua following the raid, but he was instead seen at Miami International Airport, where coincidentally his alleged drug mule was also arrested the same day. I guess you wonder what's going to happen next, Diddy. And then, but see, this was just the start of the problem, because the investigation did not end at the raids alone. If you'll know anything about the feds, it's that they are thorough with their investigations. And so you'll know that this case is far from being over. The investigation is still ongoing, and right now, Diddy is facing a very long time behind bars, which would explain why he would be allegedly snitching on every single person involved in the conspiracy. They say he's singing like a canary. Now there have been some names that have been thrown around this case, including Jay's. And there have been reports that Diddy has allegedly been snitching on Jay-Z, even though he and Jay-Z have been besties for many years. And if he's out here snitching on his besties, y'all can bet a bottom dollar that he's out here snitching on everybody else. And it's only a matter of time before his case, busted wide open busted. And do y'all know one name that's being tossed around in this mess? That's Mr. C.L. Davis. That's who the streets are now claiming that Diddy is allegedly striking a deal with the feds for a lesser sentence in exchange for giving them information on Clive Davis. And if there is someone who knows where all the bodies are buried when it comes to Clive, it's allegedly Diddy now. To those of you who haven't been tuned into the inner workings of the music industry, let's rewind a bit and dive into the long-standing relationship between Clive Davis and Diddy. Their story goes way back to Diddy's days at Uptown Records. Now Uptown Records was run by Andrew Harrell, but Clive Davis was the one with the deep pockets. And even though Harrell was the face of the operation, so when Diddy was fired from Uptown Records after a tragic event at City College of New York, where 9 lives were lost, he didn't just fade into the shadows. No, sir, he had a plan. He pitched his Bad Boy Records idea to Clive Davis in a jaw-dropping twist. Clive not only backed Diddy, but pulled his support in funds from Uptown Records to help kickstart Bad Boy. Now you might be wondering, how did Diddy manage to swing such a deal, especially after such a public disaster? Well, according to reports, there's more to this story than meets the eye. According to people in the know, Diddy allegedly agreed to become Clive's boy toy, fulfilling his desires in exchange for fame and power. Now, usually what folks do behind closed doors is their business. I mean, if Diddy and Clive want to do their thing, they're grown adults, right? But according to insiders, their escapades went way beyond your regular hookups. Allegedly, they were knee-deep in some seriously shady dealings. For many years, fans have been pointing fingers squarely at Clive Davis for the tragic demise of Whitney Houston. Now, before you roll your eyes, let's really unpack this a bit. Whitney's death was back in 2012, and it sent shockwaves to the industry. And to this day, it's still shrouded in mystery. At the time, Whitney was set to perform at Clive Davis' pre-Grammy bash at the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Hills on February 11, 2012. But in the days leading up to the event, things took a bizarre turn. Reports surfaced of Whitney acting all sorts of strange. After meeting with Clive, several media outlets reported that she appeared disheveled and disoriented, with what looked like sweat running down her face and blood dripping down her leg. Now, 2 days after this, she was found unconscious in a bathtub, and she passed away just before the party kicked off. Whitney's assistant stumbled upon on her lying face down in the tub. Unresponsive, panic set in. She called Whitney's bodyguard, Ray Watson, to help her get Whitney out of the tub. He later told the Mirror that the scene in the bathroom was surreal, and he panicked because he couldn't understand what happened to Whitney. I couldn't tell if she was alive or dead. He said, I got her out of the water and tried to revive her. Then it was all crazy. Whitney's assistant and her bodyguard revealed that they called 911, and the paramedics arrived at Whitney's hotel room. They performed CPR, but sadly it was too late. At 3:55 p.m., Whitney was pronounced dead. We have breaking news tonight out of Los Angeles. The death of singing star Whitney Houston at the age of 48. Details are still coming in, but her publicist has confirmed her death to the Associated Press. Although the circumstances and the place are not clear now, the cause of Whitney's death wasn't immediately known, and the local police said that there were no obvious signs of criminal intent. However, after conducting an autopsy and running toxicology tests, the LA County Court Four's office concluded that Whitney's death was caused by drowning, combining with the effects of heart disease and cocaine use. This is where things got really shady, though the autopsy report noted that there was some external trauma on Whitney's body. The coroner ruled that there were no signs of foul play, also Clive not canceling the party after he got information of Whitney's death raised a whole lot of eyebrows. And it had lots of people pointing accusing fingers at him. Clive then revealed that he didn't end the party because he wanted it to be a tribute to Whitney, because that's what she would have wanted him to do. And he also insisted that Whitney's family didn't ask him to cancel the party. Why did you let the party go on? Of course, this is a personal thing. But the Grammys were the next night. You don't cancel, you turn an evening into a tribute. You did a magnificent evening. Into did you give a thought to canceling? Never. You never thought. Never could you. Did you ever think the family did not want me to give a thought? You can't know. But then Whitney's autopsy was filled with lots of inconsistencies because it seemed like there was a lot of external trauma to her body. And according to reports, there were superficial abrasions to the left side of her forehead in the bridge of her nose. She also had cuts on her left arm, hand, and shoulder. And in the final